Welcome to Spirit Guide Daily. Hey guys, when we're in a collective, we all share energy, but these are timeless readings that will cross your path when they are meant to. They can also serve as intermediate tarot lessons as I kept getting in the comments section, it was teaching people how to read tarot. And so that's why I started billing it as that as well. Hey, listen, we have the Radiant Wilds Tarot bringing us 3 predictive cards. We have the Language of Flowers Oracle cards bringing us a card. And we have the Wisdom Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, one of my very favorites, bringing us an Oracle card as well. Let's get going with the Radiant Wilds Tarot. It's very, very vibrant. All right, before I get started, guys, please don't forget to subscribe because it helps my channel. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button because it helps me with the algorithm. And if you want to book me for a private reading, there's a link to my website in the description box down below. And I also have a podcast called Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica. 6 of Wands in the upright. Hey, baby, that is a great card. That is progress. That is triumph. It is victory. It is a social media star card as well. It can be a card for promotions. It's the Herald card, good news coming towards you, and it is the card of being admired. That's coming out with the 4 of Swords in the upright, which is like pausing and reflecting. It's peace. It's tranquility. It can be a vacation, quite frankly. And it's coming out with the 3 of Cups in reverse, which is a third-party interference card. Now, in a love reading, you don't want to see it because it means that, unless you're, polyamorous, you're fine with that. But if you're hoping for an exclusive relationship, the 3 of Cups in reverse is a third party. It can also be a card of personal power and isolation because the cups are about emotion. When you get the 3 of Cups in reverse, it can be a feeling of being isolated or feeling isolated. Here's the thing. This is actually, it looks to me like there's something happening behind the scenes for your success. It will involve a person that I don't think you know yet, but something is happening behind the scenes that is helping you. And for the energy for the day that you're seeing this, know that it's a day of kind of being unbothered as you move forward. Because this is a card of forward motion, this is a card of peace and serenity, and this is a card of looking within and relying on self. The 3 of Cups in the upright is about gatherings with friends and, committees and parties sometimes. In reverse like that, it is essentially everything that you do, you rely on self. And that really, it's not the same thing as never being able to accept help from somebody. And it's certainly not the same thing as remaining single. But it does mean that you don't need to do things by committee. You do things with the idea that you are the person in charge. And this is the person who knows that. It's a victorious card, and the whole war is won, but it is a crucial battle that is won when we get that particular card. We have co-create. You're in co-creation with the universe. This is a card of isolation or being by self, but remember, you always have guidance. And by the way, sometimes I'll be laughing about the fact when I get ancestors cards because on both sides of my family, I had very talented people in very specific ways, but they were personal wrecks of human beings. And they're no longer, most of them, in the earthly form. And I have to remember that the gifts that they had were the things that were passed down to me. Even if the trauma of the less than glorious choices that they make was also passed down to me, I need to separate the good from the bad and to understand that the bad is just about having their struggles. And that the gifts that I was given gave me the opportunities and the tools to overcome. And that I should always be honoring those who came before me. Please remember that. When we hear co-create, it's not just about tapping into source and your guides. It is honoring the people who came before you, even if it was like my alcoholic grandmother who set the house on fire with me in it. She actually, by the way, did that twice. It's just the first time didn't really get to me very much. She had a bad habit of smoking in bed. So that's a person who was fiercely intelligent, deeply, 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 deeply codependent, and struggling with an addiction that would eventually kill her. But certain things about her also were she was strong, she was funny. She was apparently the world's most responsible drunk. They could find her passed out in the hallway and she would still get up and go and be a dietitian in a hospital the next day. And she did a good job. So I got fortitude and I got perseverance and I got discipline from somebody who struggled the most with an addiction. And she didn't like me very much, and I don't blame her because she was sort of saddled with taking care of me. But she was also the most responsible person. She tried to take good care of me, even if her heart was absolutely broken. And that is the dichotomy that we live with when we are trying to separate from we see the worst things first. We see the gaping wounds. We see the things that are bleeding and need to be healed and stitched up and that stand in our way. But try to look at the attributes that you possess that were great gifts, even from people who had great struggles. You are in co-creation with your own energetic and ancestral collective. Love them and try to honor them, and know that perhaps you live in a time where more tools for self-healing are made available, but they did not. And that many of them had very good hearts, even if they sometimes fell backwards into things that were even all the way up into including abuse, because they didn't know how to cope with their own feelings and their own emotions. And that is the great gift of the time that we live in, is that we have the tools to understand ourselves, to understand why we do the things that we do, and they did not. We have anemone, which is optimism. Look up and look brightly. This is a super positive draw. This is a super positive deck. I'm not positive how you could ever, this is not the deck you would, be doing some sort of grief reading on, because it's all about the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, and the root chakra. Different decks have different energies. This is all about growth, being grounded. The energy that you're being asked to inhabit today is to examine it can be very difficult. It can be very difficult to look for the good things that you got from the people who hurt you the most. But they usually are there. And it can be things not that they tried to give you, but the genetic memory that was passed on to you. And in a more 3D capacity, hey, things are going, lots happening. It's a time where you are pretty much at the top of the staircase you've been trying to climb and trying to climb and trying to climb. Try to remain connected to the divine as a loving source in your life, and the protectors who try to guide you through absolutely everything as creatures and beings and energies of pure love. And they never, ever, ever want to see us suffer. But we want unhappiness to end, and they want us to heal. And sometimes we're going to be unhappy when we're healing because we're dealing with old crap. But this is a card draw all about optimism, all about being healed, all about personal power. It is a reminder that if you stand here feeling better than you did a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 6 weeks ago, is because something is trying to help you. Try to reach out to it and ask for help. Don't just ask for what you want. Because sometimes what we want is not actually good for us. And I'm the queen of that. Like most of the things that I wanted 4 years ago, I no longer would touch with somebody else's 10-foot pole. We do change as we heal. All right, guys. So that was the Spirit Guide Daily for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to book me for a private reading, there's a link to my website in the description box down below. Go forward. Co-create. Be balanced. And the owl is all about wisdom and spirit guide messages. Find the way that you can tap in. Now, I don't personally meditate. What I do is I go to the woods and I cast a circle and I feed the crows and I talk out loud and probably frighten passerbys. Now I'm going to a very private area. But I'm very, very active, and I don't do things well in a lotus position. I'm not going to sit crisscross applesauce and connect to something. I have a tendency to need to be moving around because I have all that fire, I have all that drive, and it is one of the reasons that I am asked to do what I'm being asked to do. Find out what you're being asked to do by asking your guides to help guide you towards your purpose. When you are living in your purpose, you can find resonant joy. Even when your personal circumstances are challenging to you, you can find the ability to tap in, to have belief, to have faith, if you're trying to do what you're being asked to by your actual higher self and your soul. Take care. Be well.